All right, checking this one out here. Looks like we do have our 4-1 players here. We're, as far as the tournament goes, we are down to 3 undefeated players. But we spared you the Murktide mirror and a hammer mirror. So we'll take a look on these players that are undefeated a little bit more next round.
So bottom of your screen here with Patchy, we've got a 4-color Rhinos deck, notably with a new addition from Brothers War that is 1 copy of Arcane Proxy.
Okay.
Card that can cast Crashing Footfalls from the graveyard.
Oh, that's interesting.
So you
kind of cute.
Get some extra copies there, and that 7 mana value does not interfere with your.
Oh, and you don't have to pay the mana cost on a 0 drop. Huh? All right, not
bad. And then, what is that? Tuscanini?
Tuscanini, yep. Another great Magic player. Both Paxi and Tuscanini I've lost to plenty of times. No, sorry, I stopped.
Yeah, Tuscanini here playing a little Omnath control.
Well, Omnathington, huh? Okay.
Oh, are they? It said 4 to 5 color Omnath, but we're seeing their deck list. Oh no! Ooh, this is spicy. It is a 4 color Omnath deck, but this is not the traditional control deck. This is a Shape Anewing.
Either way, that doesn't look like their correct hand. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, they are Shape Anewing into Portal to Phyrexia, another Brothers War card, 9 mana artifact. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices 3 creatures. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It's a Phyrexian in addition to its other types.
Interesting. Otherwise, they're just winning with good old-fashioned attacking and blocking from Fable, Omnath, Fury, and Solitude. So a very strange deck.
Yeah, but one of the neat things with Indomitable Creativity, you can't play creatures, right? Because you have to hit the creature that you're trying to hit.
Yep.
With Shape Anew, it's just artifacts, so you can play things like Omnath, Solitude, and Fury to have this fair game plan. And instead of a Dwarven Mine and a Mountain mana base, we're playing a Forest mana base and Gingerbread Cabin.
Okay, the Eldraine staple here of putting some food in. All right, I like it.
And yeah, you can get some more treasures from Prismari Command, from Fable of the Mirror, Goblin Shaman token. So there's a couple other ways to do it. But otherwise, yeah, this is a cool deck. Portal to Phyrexia should be very powerful against Rhino tokens.
Yes.
Sacrifice 3 creatures, please. I see 3 creatures on the battlefield here. But that said, only 2 mana for Tuscanini.
Yeah, only 2 mana, maybe 3. It is Tuscanini's turn, so you can get up to 3 mana, but that's not really where you want. There's no way to ramp, it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, just the fact that this aggressive Rhino start, might just be too much to answer. And there's like no real way to deal with these Rhinos preemptively in the main deck, at least, when you're on the draw. Teferi on the play is a way to do it, but as it stands now.
We do have some touch of the Spirit Realm, so there's a bit of a scam element here where you can evoke elementals and then channel the touch.
Okay.
So that's a neat one.
That is pretty cute.
Channeling touch can also just deal with a Rhino token.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and we could see Solitudes here as far as some free spells. We'll get some word here a little bit if we got these hand cams working. Perfect. So maybe we'll get that background done if it's not too tricky to deal with. If not, no big deal. We can just leave it like that. Looking into it, it is a little different when it comes to changing formats. Like the hand viewer. It's picky sometimes. It's when you change formats, it scares us.
Here's another Cascader Ardent Plea that you get access to with the 4th color. So now we got 5 creatures. So Portal to Phyrexia, not going to be good enough to clear up this battlefield.
But it will be good enough to keep Tuscanini alive if we do have this Shape Anew technology. But I believe there's a couple Force negations.
4 copies of Force negation.
Ooh, there's a couples of Force negation here.
Also, notably, 4 copies of Leyline Binding that can just answer up Portal to Phyrexia. You'll still get the ETB sack for creatures, but you won't get any of the casting value.
Well, can't you just Leyline's Binding the target of Shape Anew?
Oh, true. Yeah. Unless it's an artifact land.
Yeah, that's true, which I don't think we have a lot of, but yeah, that would be one way to break it up. And naturally, as I tell Adrian to take away that little background stuff so we have more battlefield, then the hand cam works. I'm actually in control of the hand cam, and it's been working perfectly the whole time, but I shut it off every once in a while to troll Adrian. It's super fun, yeah. One of my favorite
interesting.
pastimes.
I think we're gonna see a Teferi here. That can bounce one Rhino, and then we can go for Solitude, pitch Omnath, channel Touch of the Spirit Realm on the Solitude, where you have no possibility for interaction.
Yeah.
And that'll deal with 2 more Rhinos and put a 3/2 lifelinker on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's all in hopes that there is not indeed Force, right? Force just
Yeah.
locks this entire hand out.
Well, you could still.
Well, wait, you can Omnath first, and then fetch land and do the old Omnath trick.
Well, you need the white. You need the. Oh no, we do have another white card.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we go for Omnath, fetch.
Get some land that produces white.
Yep.
And then Teferi plus Solitude, trick, shenanigans. Yeah, you can do some stuff this turn. That is a hand, and it's just, what do you go for? You know, right now, I think the number one thing Tuscany is looking at, be like, okay, can I beat Force in any way, shape, or form? Got to answer yourself that question first. I don't know for sure yet, but it looks like you can't.
The tough part if you go for Omnath is if you run afoul of Leyline Binding.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I think we'll see the Teferi first. Nope, looks like we're going for the Omnath.
Yeah, Leyline's Binding is just GG right here.
Yeah, because we'll only be able to gain 4. We'll go to 14.
You won't be able to gain any if you just do it with the draw trigger on the stack.
Yep.
Yeah,
and that's looks like that's what's going to happen. So
yeah,
we went for everything, and instead we're going to get dead.
Yeah, and who knows if there was not a Force negation? Oh, yeah, it was like if there was not a Force negation, the other play of Teferi, like you were saying, could have been better, or just Shape Anew. Just literally go get a gingerbread cabin or whatever the heck that card is called, Shape Anew it, and then Solitude something, and all of a sudden there was only one creature. Okay, we did get a last minute look at the hand, and it wasn't there, Ross. It wasn't there.
Yeah, so if we had gone for the Teferi play,
oh, you just go for Shape Anew.
Well, the Leyline Binding just hits the food.
Huh? Oh, yeah. We literally talked about that.
Yeah, you were the one who brought it up.
Well, that was pretty smart of me to bring that up, and then really dumb of me to completely ignore myself.
Yeah, we would have been able to live that way, and unfortunately goes for a little bit more and gets maximally punished. So Rhinos here taking game 1. Looking over at the sideboard, I see a Gemstone Caverns. I imagine that will not come in and give it. Oh no, you're on the draw now because you won.
I imagine that'll come in. Yeah.
I see some Blood Moons, which are usually good against creativity decks.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine it's even better against Gingerbread Cabin decks.
Yeah, especially because it's still a deck that wants Omnath and stuff.
Omnath, it wants Leyline Bindings of its own. So I like the Blood Moons. I see 4 Mystical Dispute. That does target Omnath, Teferi, Shape Anew.
That's probably enough.
Probably, yeah. And Endurance and Force of Vigor. I mean, Force of Vigor can hit various artifacts, but
yeah, Force of Vigor seems a little too
binding. But you have Leyline Bindings and stuff. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
So I like those first 7 cards,
and maybe some Forces. You never know. Like that's not the worst. Force can always just hit a target in response. You can always get rid of Portal before it's going to start bringing stuff back. Who knows?
In our Omnath Shape Anew deck. So we're a Karuga deck.
Okay.
Just mention that. A couple Force of Vigors, a couple Orvars. Those don't seem great. Unmoored Ego on Rhinos if you're on the play, so you can cast a turn 3 before they do it.
Sure.
Endurance not great. Your disputes seem a lot worse than your opponents.
Yeah.
But I actually like Sundering Titan more than Portal Phyrexia, I think. Just hit all their lands.
Yeah.
The 7/10 will stabilize the battlefield too.
Oh yeah. If you resolve, look at this battlefield right now from Paxy's side. If you just hit all 4 of those lands, you're probably still winning this game, even with that battlefield still available. All the Rhinos, because you have Solitude and stuff, like that would have made it a little bit possible. Obviously, this battlefield is a little extreme. Maybe you're still dying to that, but I do like that. Yeah, tighten out some lands. I suppose that just comes in on any matchup where you're not hitting the creatures. Yeah. Where Portal's bad, Sundering Titan is probably good. Yeah.
Yep. And that's a cool juke.
Or you take out Shape Anew altogether if they're both bad. I kind of think against Breach, the holy grail of Modern. I can't picture Portal or Sundering Titan being very good.
Yeah, just bring in more disruption and cut that plan.
Yeah.
Easy to do because none of your regular cards, play to that plan at all.
No.
It's literally just cut the Shape Anews in the portals.
Yeah.
And bring in 6 interactive cards.
And this is another card or another deck that would be very, very, very good in a unknown metagame where people can't see your deck, because there's a lot of stuff from the left field that would get me for sure. Like, I mean, this is not a known quantity. So if you play this in a challenge, you're probably just going to get some people with a portal or something like that. Be like, excuse me, you did what? You shaped a nude for portal to Phyrexia?
Hey, you spend most of the early turns just looking like a normal Omnath.
Yeah, pretty much.
Suddenly on turn 4, you're like, oh, Gingerbread Cabin.
Yeah. I think maybe this is like a Karuga fire. Like, I mean, you see Karuga, so you get a little bit of a lowdown of what's going on, but still.
You know there's no Wrens.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so getting ready for game number 2 here of round number 5 out of 9 today. If you're just joining us, first of all, thank you so much for being a part of coverage today. We are bringing you coverage all day today and then tomorrow starting at noon Eastern time of this awesome tournament, giving away $10,000 for first place. And just, having some fun with a 3-format tournament. If you want to play in something like this, !Bash Bros in that chat will give you a good way to do so. You'll get 15% off your first 2 months, and you can start renting these decks right now and do what my favorite thing is to do when I'm just sitting at home watching coverage, hanging out, is pick up one of these decks, continue to watch coverage on one of my side monitors, and just start playing some Magic. I love it. It's my fave.
Well, I mulliganed to 6 from Patsy here and has the Gemstone Caverns on the draw.
So kind of a mulligan to 5, which is matched by Tuscanani. Their words are hard.
Yeah.
As they mulligan to 5 as well.
They do have a Fire Ice. Ooh, there's another Gemstone Caverns. That's awkward.
Right on time. Right on time. Gemstone pitching Gemstone is pretty good, but Gemstone having to play another Gemstone later, which is also awkward because you naturally want to keep the one that doesn't have the counter on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just a card we probably just cannot play. Yeah, literal worst top deck in the deck for Paxi. Close.
You also really want to cast the Violent Outburst on their turn so you can protect with a Force of Negation.
Yeah, everything about that was terrible, but a land off the top here is great news.
I imagine we will see the Gemstone Caverns get iced on the upkeep.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yes, the classic Time Walk.
And honestly, Paxi might be okay with that. Be like, you know what? At least I don't have to think if I want to play Gemstone Cavern or not.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, and that's perfectly fine. You have the force for the Teferi, so as long as you can find an untapped land here in the next couple of turns, you can at least, Paxi can untap and get some Rhinos in play and try to do it that way. But problem with that is, Omnath is still there to hang.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Let's suspend that one.
Can't with that land, yeah. I think
that's Xander's Lounge?
Yeah. I think that's the Grixis one.
Yeah, Xander's Lounge is the Grixis one.
Just worst possibles on top of the deck twice. And a second Teferi found, just in case there's not another land found or doesn't want to get some Rhinos in play. You got to force. There's no decision.
Yeah. Force, and I think we'll see the Caverns get played if there's no land off the top.
I think
just to outburst.
Just all in and still probably looking very bad.
Oof, so now we have to float green off the Caverns.
And go down to just Grixis and colorless mana in your Rhino deck. Oh,
it's the Rhino deck splashing white.
yeah. But also you have Grixis lands because why not? And you gotta be feeling terrible about this game if you're Paxi.
This is far from taking over the game,
Yeah.
The Teferi here can deal with one of them because one of those Teferis is still in Tuscanini's hand.
It might be both. It still might be both. Okay, no, because Misty, I believe, is not 100%. Okay, not updating at the moment, but yeah, we know one of those Teferis. We know Omnath is there. See what we want to cast, and
for an Omnath trying to protect Teferi here.
Kind of risky business.
Definitely.
Yep, I of course. Oh God. Paxi is just like, what the heck did I do to deserve this? Just Gemstone Cavern into Crashing Footballs, into Violent Outbursts as the 4 draw steps.
And it was the original Gemstone Caverns that did them in. They exiled a land to put it in.
Yeah.
The speed boost didn't really matter because of the Fire Ice.
Yep, you're totally right.
And they could have very easily just not put it into play and had 3 lands here and cast that other Violent Outburst.
Yep, totally. And if just the other gemstone cavern was in hand instead of drawn, it's just such an easy pitch.
Yeah.
And then boom, problem solved. I don't know. I still kind of think Paxi would lose this game, but I think it would have at least been a real game.
Well, there's a Misty, and interesting for Toscanini to leave this Teferi exposed.
Yep, leaving the Teferi exposed probably. We might see something here. Gain some life. We didn't see Tuscanani. Oh, okay. Not bad.
Had only one.
Yeah, just like, yeah, that's it. I've had far enough.
I've got 4 blank pieces of cardboard in your hand
yeah,
right
that's
now.
right. I was like, well, you can still Rhino at least. But let's slow that
You
play
can Violent Outburst.
Post-combat with no creatures in the battlefield. That's the type of expert commentary you've come to know and love from us. But have no fear. This sweet matchup of Modern will get a Game 3 conclusion here.
Yeah, we'll see if... I imagine some of these Gemstone Caverns will be coming out of the deck.
Yeah, both. And might be coming out of the 75 after that. Like, absolutely just get those out of my deck.
That is that's a traumatic experience.
Yeah, no kidding. If Paxi ends up losing this next game in that kind of dramatic fashion, we're going to have Adrian send like a gift basket or something. Like a sorry for your loss type of card or something.
A muffin assortment.
Yeah, absolutely, because that was pretty absurd. So, getting ready for game number 3 here at round 5. We got 3 players that are at the top of the leaderboard here at 4-0. Yeah, sorry, these players are 3-1. I think I said 4-1 earlier. We're not that far in the day.
This is round 5 of 9, as you see in the bottom banner on your screen.
And a reminder, the cut is a hard cut at 6-3. No draws on Magic Online, none of that nonsense. So, right.
Fire Ace into Teferi is about the best you can ask for on the draw.
And I mean, that's a hand that, sometimes looks very tempting. There's no action or anything, but there's disruptions. If you find any action, you can protect it. I almost would have kept that. It's kind of not great, but again, I keep some loose gooses.
You're talking about on Patsy's side?
Yeah. It was just 2 disputes and all lands, but if you ever find it by turn 4, not only are you protected against Teferi and Omnath, the big cards, but then you can also play it with some disruption.
You're a loose goose.
I am.
This hand much better with a couple Shardless Agents, and notably multiple fetch lands. So if we lead on those fetch lands, you can stop Ice from being able to, lock down a land for a turn.
Yeah, good point.
Guarantee that you can Shardless Agent on 3 before Teferi can be cast from your opponent.
Another thing, I like putting Fury back here. I think it's between Fury and a land. And Otawara can actually do some damage where you can bounce Teferi end step and then Shardless Agent. With this, how this hand is set up, Paxi not only has to always be aware in this matchup, but just constantly aware all the time. What do I do to Teferi? Teferi is just so game breaking.
And there
in
it
this
is.
matchup.
Patsy does not crack the fetch land on the end
Very
step.
smart.
Looks like they are going to make this very tight sequence and Shardless Agent on 3, and that's going to give them a pretty considerable lead.
Yeah.
Because it's just been a couple lands off the top, it looks like, for Toscanini. So they don't have a lot of spare fodder to pitch to Solitude. Teferi will, of course, deal with one of the tokens, but if you go for the immediate Teferi, Shardless Agent and the other token can attack them down, even with an Evoked Solitude, and then you open up the second Shardless Agent. So
we could easily see end step Isa Rhino just because, I think you might kind of have to, just to try to find another white card to go to Fairy Bounce and then Solitude the other one. And then I feel pretty good about this game,
Yeah.
If I'm from Tuscanani's side.
But you still then have to, because it's Shardless Agent, there's the 2/2 to attack down the Teferi still.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the tough part of this game.
I totally forgot about that extra 2/2.
We will make sure we have non-Grixis mana here.
Yeah. Paxi having the best possible lands, John Avon lands. I did learn John Avon's going to be at Philadelphia. I got some lands to get signed.
Nice.
That's going to be sweet. My favorite land.
These Rhinos will be entering the battlefield shortly. And Patsy taking a quick lead in this game. And there's not a very obvious way for Toscanini to get back into it.
Yeah, not quite yet. But that first Rhino, not the biggest of deals. It's possible to come back from that if your opponent is kind of stumbling on the back half. We know that Paxi's draw is not really stumbled. You have Otawara as an option for a second play, or just Shardless Agent. You look at the opponent's deck because this is open deck list. You don't see Supreme Verdict, anything like that, and you just go to town. Play it.
Toscanini wants to cast this ice. It's going to be awkward on their mana because they're holding Forest Plains in hand.
Yeah, it's pretty painful.
Have the basics that Windswept Heath can find.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty brutal here. Now, maybe there's some kind of cheeky play if you draw a white card where you go like Teferi, tick up, and hope your opponent like doesn't respect it enough, doesn't respect Solitude enough, and doesn't aim. Basically, you'd have to attack all out at Teferi.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think Paxi playing Rhinos as much as they do has probably been wronged by that card so much that you're like, I'll attack extra cards even if I know you don't have a Solitude to pitch, just like I have to deal with it.
Maybe what we needed to do was take the damage, bite that bullet, and fire the Shardless Agent on instant, and then hope to rip a white card.
Ooh, yeah, because you got 2 rips at it.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked that.
That would have gotten us back into this game, but not even entirely, because then you have nothing left. Patsy just goes land 4 go, end of turn, channel Otawara on Teferi.
Oh, yeah.
Make 10 more power.
But at least we're playing Magic.
Yeah.
You get a line where, you know.
Yeah. And then you've got the Teferi to deal with 1 Rhino. You've got a couple draw steps to try to deal with the rest, and you're playing Magic. But yeah, here you're really far behind.
I mean, that to be fair, though, that's a play that's kind of lined up now. Could go Indathi Triumph, fire Shardless Agent, take a slap for 8. To God, they don't have something else.
Well, but they have the Shardless Agent.
Yeah, but I mean, you just got to hope.
Yeah.
Tuscanelli doesn't have that, so we got to look through the eyes of that. But yeah, I think I agree. I think you need to just Teferi, take your 2 for 1. 2 for 1 that soaks up 2 damage, the Shardless Agent. But if we drew a white card, there's a chance that Paxi has to just go, okay, I have to all-out attack Teferi even now. And that's what Tuscanelli is hoping for. Then you just go, yeah, it dies, whatever. I'll protect a future one if I draw it.
Then potentially you could draw, Shape Anew if you still have portals in your deck.
Yeah.
But there's 2 Shardless Agents to sack. They'd be left with 2 Rhinos still. So...
Yeah, we haven't seen any, sign of Shape Anew left in the deck, and I'd believe that. Doesn't seem like a card you want against any of the Cascade decks, Dredge, these kind of like really linear, super fast kind of combo decks.
The big sign that they don't have it in their deck is that they played the 2 fetch lands they had first instead of holding one of them to get a cabin.
Yeah, probably.
That's a big tell, at least from our side, being able to see Toscanini's hand that they have a bunch of non-fetch lands left over.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We'll see what they go for here. Yeah, and this action's on Paxi here, so I think it really is just, number one, Paxi's looking at the deck list, as we will do right now.
For Solitude.
Looks at the free spells, like, okay, can I afford to attack both these creatures at Teferi? AK, do I have an answer if I slow this game down, my opponent, goes Shape Anew? They probably think about it too. Like, can I beat a Shape Anew portal next turn?
Yeah.
Like, maybe not.
I would honestly say that the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Especially because you have Otawara.
So here's a question, Ross. What do you attack? Do you, with not knowing perfect information, both at Teferi or just the Shardless?
I'm sending both.
I think I would too. And then I just cast Shardless.
Yep. And if they portal me, I just bounce the portal and have 2 Rhinos.
Yeah.
If that's my worst case scenario, I'm in.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Okay, looks like both were at Teferi. I love it. Solitude was there. We're not 100% sure white card was there, but that probably is an updated hand.
We know Teferi and Forest are gone, so there's 2 unknowns in Tuscanini's hand.
Oh, yeah, good point. Okay, so maybe a little froze on that one. But here we go. We're going to find out shortly.
And 3 cards in Patsy's hand, and the Wooded Fiddles just got played, so I think there's 1 unknown over there. Otawara Islet X. And this is the big turn. You're staring down 16 power. You got to start getting something going.
Yeah, there is no Supreme Verdicts, right? I mean,
No.
There's definitely the colors to do so, but
No, because you're fetching all forests. It'd be awkward to try to get blue, white, white.
surprisingly, they have it easily, but like with that planes in hand, blue, white, white, no big deal. But let's see what we go for here.
Wonder if we could have like fire a Shardless Agent this turn and maybe channel a touch on a Rhino, take 10. Next turn, place Hardcast Solitude, exile a Rhino, trade with the other agent, take 1. And now you've just got 1 Rhino left to clean up, and you're at 7.
Aurora for sure wins the game on the spot in some combination there. Probably. Yeah, it's definitely advantage bar huge in Paxy's favor here.
But doesn't have a ton left, so if Toscanini can find the goods to stabilize, they are back in it for sure.
For sure. Well, a little redemption from that just heinous draw last game from Paxy. That was one of the worst draws I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's probably not even in the top 10 worst draw you've had in your life.
Oh, well, I'm extremely unlucky, so I know that.
You know what they say. People who don't mulligan get unlucky.
Who says that?
I do to you.
Okay. That's
repeatedly. No play. Not great.
not ideal. I would say not ideal. Step 1. Not great for sure. Step 2. And it just comes down to, is this like Solitude now plus touch or something?
That would be good. No, just passing the turn.
And I think both players have Leyline's Binding and stuff, so they both have like 1 mana ways to do things, but
Leyline Binding for Toscanini is going to be 2 mana at this point. No swamp. No swamp on either side, so 2. They're all 2 mana.
Yep.
That would be okay if we had like that plus fire and agent, take 10.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Or double Leyline or something. Might just be ice one of these Rhinos down. Sure.
Ice, baby. Well, attack for 12.
Would you like to take that? It looks like we do have a Leyline's Binding.
Still going to be taking 8, going to 10, but that is... Although, actually, we could auto-aura this with the trigger on the stack.
Yeah, I was just wondering how that works like that. It does work profitably for keeping a Rhino alive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So keep it alive for 1 turn. I'm not sure if that's the best use of auto-aura, but...
Yeah.
Basically just a 4 damage burn spell.
Yeah.
Taps.
I wouldn't recommend bouncing Leyline's Bindings after Rhino is taken, though. You don't get that token back, believe it or not.
It does also lock up 2 more mana of your opponents.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I would definitely consider it here.
Yeah, I think it's probably your best use of Auto-Aura.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, I think the other use of Auto-Aura that would be better is Omnath in response to the draw trigger, win the game kind of thing. So I think that's the consideration, because I feel like that's how Paxy loses this game, is with Omnath, fetch land, do busted stuff, So that's what would be on my brain, but also it's like, okay, now if I deal with Leyline's Binding now, take 10, put you to 8, how do I... Oh, this could be a Leyline's Binding in response. That would be pretty good, too. Okay. That does the same thing, essentially. Does the same thing, but Auto-Aura is still going to be shut down because there's no legends to see.
Just play the Fiery Islet, pop that. Try to find more interaction to force through more damage.
Yeah, finding a dispute or something would be sweet here.
Yeah, and now that's basically a disaster. You're now taking 12. You're going to 6. You need to answer 3 attackers by the next turn. How does that happen?
I know just the card.
Well, that's actually not good enough because you deals with only 2.
Two Shardless agents.
So maybe
I was like, you need 3 cards answered, huh? Slap shapes Anew. Imagine how many portals of Phyrexian you could fit in this bad boy.
Now, if we had fetch for Gingerbread Cabin, shape Anew, and then evoke a Solitude, we could live at 1.
Okay.
Because you'd be going to 6 this turn, fetch to 5, deal with 2 agents and a Rhino, exile another Rhino, take 4 from the 3rd Rhino, go to 1.
What if we have Force of Vigor here in Tuscanani? Then this is kind of a train wreck thing that worked out for Paxy,
Yeah, Force of Vigor would be pretty good. we'd also have to have a green card. I don't know if
Who knows what's going on in the hands of either players at this point.
we know 4 of the cards in Toscanini's hand. Yavimaya and Dotha Triome. Oh, no, we don't, because the Ice 2 and Solitude. So we only know 3. So there are 3 unknowns. So we could have Force of Vigor green card.
Yeah, and if Omnath is your pitch target, you do have a big think ahead of you, so...
I think I would do it. Deal with their binding.
Okay. So gets rid of a Leyline binding of their own, and their Solitude.
Besides, I can't take this much damage.
Yep. Okay. And they're probably right. Okay.
We can... I
mean, if you Teferi bounce Leyline binding, that's pretty nice.
This is worse than bouncing.
No, not really. I don't think so.
So you just give them a Leyline binding back.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Yeah. Either way, you just deal with a Rhino.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's good. But it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Not as cool as bouncing Leyline binding when it has an Underworld Breach under it and you kill and you win the game.
That one is nice. I love that. I love that. You're like, oh, you're gonna keep that for safekeeping for me later? Thank you. Don't mind if I do. All right, passes the turn. This kind of signifies to me that we have Solitude, block with Solitude, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I imagine that is what is coming.
Yeah.
And this will, even if the Solitude gets removed, there's only 8 damage left.
Okay. All right.
We could trade for an agent and take 3 overall.
Total, yeah.
7, then untap Teferi, bounce Rhino, and then there's only a Shardless agent left.
I don't know if we know if that Teferi's in hand.
Oh no, is this double Fire Ice? That's enough. Fire Solitude, attack for 8, fire upstairs. And the Wooded Foothills is the second red source.
Toscanini, you are fired. Wow, okay, yep, that one looks to be updating here in our bottom player. There's Wooded Foothills.
Toscanini was just on the verge of stabilizing this game.
Definitely still on the verge, but Toscanini was not even here yet. You know, like, Toscanini was not stable yet by any means. There still had to be some action in that hand, but looks like Paxi is going to Xaxes to close the door here. And just say, yeah, last double check on the list. Is there anything? Nope. Take 2. Bang!
Upstairs.
Fire upstairs. Impressive stuff. All right, so Paxi moving on to 4-1 after round number 5.